So just the biggest story on the face of the earth is this epic acute stillhead salmon, trout or salmonoids who live here. When you're fishing in Idaho, they don't drive up I-80 or I-15 or cut up over the fucking hill, fucking turning fucking music into fucking gold. Fucking, remember that's it, driving over Cannon, turning music into gold, makes $2.54 an hour. My buddy Tim Gas, he's a working pumping gas. So, no, that's not how they go. Swim up current, oh boy, incredible creatures. So yesterday was the peak day. Until Fukushima happened in 2010, I think they got 12,800 on the day yesterday. They got 400 yesterday. So the 10-year meets, they started collapsing immediately. You know, a guy was talking to me about this yesterday over here, a biologist. By the way, guess, you ain't gonna believe this. Guess who's in town? I run into him up at the market. Remember the kelp study lying asshole from Cal State Northridge? Oh yeah, he's got his big shirt on. Cal State Northridge. I said, oh, what's happening? So I didn't have my camera on, and I asked him. I said, well, what happened to your kelp study? Your big, great kelp study you was doing? And he's like, oh, you're Kevin Blanche. Him and his douchebag buddy literally ran from me. Oh, you don't want to talk? Whoops. Frauds. Academia is a fraud. All these marine biology departments, I mean, at least get down on your knees and beg God for mercy. They should be jailed. So, the so-called marine biologists in this town, what a clown circus. Kevin Blanche, Doc Ricketts. No, I'm more like her. Mrs. Platt. So, they started to fall in 2012, 2013, 2014, 20. So the 10-year means very low. They're running at less than 15% of the 10-year. This should be the scariest thing in the world. Now the Chinook go to sea for 5 years. It's the smoking gun of Fukushima. Well, you can't just say that. Yeah, I can, because we count them all. So, record returns, and not dams, record returns on the Chinook. 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Whoa. Kevin Blanche, will you believe me when they collapsed in 2016, everybody? Oh, yeah. You're full of shit. Crash. They go to sea for 5 years. Please, smoking gun of Fukushima. We don't count dead tide pools. Okay, it's the best tide pool in all of California. Jesus Lovers Point. Remember when the Jesus Lovers here, the Holy Rollers, were environmentalists, including the first mayor? What? You had a woman mayor in the 20s and 30s? She called Doc Ricketts the poacher. Doc Ricketts celebrated as the greatest marine biologist in history. The academia still don't talk about him. Oh, I do. He had Steinbeck, though, didn't he? I have a YouTube camera. George ain't gonna let me tend them fucking rabbits. What a day we had yesterday up at Big Sur. Just rode the bus. Met Russ on the bus to St. Francis. Boy, did the kids get a sermon on the mound, is all I gotta say. So there's only 10 crosses he says he's ever found there. He runs it. He's been there for 35 years, so he's the ex-world class pole vaulter Olympics. He didn't know the Olympics was going on. And he says, by the way, 35 years he's lived right next door to the albino redwood. Didn't even know it there. Like the girl said, don't tell anybody, Kev. Yeah. So, anyway, we're talking Olympics and the fact that, you know, the world-class gymnast, she quit. She couldn't handle it emotionally, mentally. Who could? They get over there and people are talking. They're like, oh my God, nobody told us this. These coaches, these sponsors should be hung for doing this to these young athletes. So the nuclear reactor in China is in meltdown. Oh yeah. Nobody knows this dynamic more than Kevin Blanche. The rules in the IAEA, which I'm there all the time. I'll be there this fall in Vienna. Here's the rules. By law, they have to send out that letter. They can't send out that letter unless there's a nuclear disaster. The French, who run the reactor, who built the reactor, out of those bankrupt rats, took down Chicago Bridge and sent out the imminent radiation downwinder letter. It's a small. I knew that when I saw it. So I wonder who leaked that to CNN. Shh. Anonymous ain't so none. Shh. Kettle me, I'll kettle you. Maybe they can hang me, give me 35 years for downloading a server at MIT. Maybe they can give me 10 years in Texas prison for forwarding a link Barrett Brown on chemo. So, what about the Million Mass March? Somebody asked me, recognized me yesterday. Just Kevin Blanche. You're the Million Mass March? Yeah. We only had 7 million people. We got no media. They sent the letter. Jennifer Graham home. Cal Berkeley, of course. Said on the letter. Never told any of you dumb sheep. It's been reported, but don't matter. The sheep. Don't matter. You went to 99.999% of people in this country. Says, we'll give you $3 million in cash. Or in your bank account, just electronically bleep. But you'll be dead in 10 years. They'll all take it. Not me. I gotta finish this journey. So this should be the greatest. Well, it's the smoking gun. We don't count dead tide pools. Okay. By the way, those great pools that we found right there over Carmel, they are a diamond in the rough. I don't know if you can see, but there's one starfish. He's up on the rock right there. I found 3 or 4 through here. Those are harbor seals right there. The harbor seals are down 90%. So the kelp study, remember that? Remember? He was working with him at Northridge and at Cal Irvine. He says, well, that's, you know, I said, you were working in symphony with him. They should fucking get down on their hands and knees and beg God for forgiveness. So, oh boy. So, Russ told me some incredible stories about the Carmel Mission. He was a world-class bowler. He ended up at the Carmel Mission. He used to be he took care of it. He took care of the nuns there, fixed it, cleaned it. He told me, he says, this is long when he just quit his athletic career. He says, when the nuns would die in the Carmel Mission, they just buried him freaking right there in the basement, right there. I said, yeah, that's what I heard. I said, Father Sierra's buried there. So he went up to St. Francis, the cathedral in the Redwoods, and told him, by the way, the cross he claims that they presented the boys last night, he says the Pope has held it in his hand. He says, people don't believe this. The reason the Pope came here, he wanted to verify a miracle that happened inside that mission that I told the nuns, well, the nuns witnessed it, and the nuns told the Pope. And I remember when he came here, landed the helicopter right there in Carmel. This is the first place I think he stopped. Maybe, I could be wrong, 82. I think that was right after he'd been shot. So he said, I went up to St. Francis in the Redwoods, the cathedrals, which the irony of this story is, I slept there one night when I was walking 2015. I just say, is it okay? I said, yeah, sleep right here in your sleep bag. I slept outside. Carmel Cove, I slept in the cove one night and almost got a waterbed, and I walked up and the priest at the Carmel Mission says, come in. I almost froze the other night, and I slept on the bench inside there. He said, that's how he got here. Dude's credible. I checked him out big time. Amazing. So the boys, I said, we're going to walk up the albino redwood. He says, what are you talking about? He didn't even know about it. I said, it's just right here for a moment. Shh, don't tell anybody. There's only 5 on Earth. They keep the other ones secret. The only reason I know that is because a friend, Carmel Chris, years ago showed it to me. We had the bus driver, we're the only bus. What a great bus driver. There's a bus, the 22, that goes up there. We're the only ones on the bus, and we visited. He stopped and let the boys take pictures of the big speed, whatever. What a great dude. He lives out in Marina. What a really great guy. Well, it's the Carmel Peninsula. People had to move out of here, and they moved out to Marina. They can't pay rent. We can't anywhere. So he says there was only 10 of them I found ever here, and you all, anybody wants to go on a field trip next time we're here, we'll go. Wow, that's all I gotta say. What an experience for them boys. So he gave it to the boys. You know, yeah, he gave them a sermon. He set him down on his altar and he sat in his chair, and I just walked away and listened. You should have heard that sermon he gave those boys. Those boys were all questions. What an experience. So he says there was only ever 10 of them, and he says this one the Pope's held in his hand. He gave it to him. We want a piece of redwood to take home. He says, oh, do I have one? So we're walking back, and I see him in the trees. Hey, I got something for you boys. It's been a very spiritual journey. Always here on the bay. Always. Of mice masquerading as fucking men called marine biologists. Remember when she was arguing with me on the upper bay, Whittaker Bay? She was tragically killed in that car wreck. Remember when Bill Monroe's daughter and son were arguing, they tragically killed the exact same way. Somebody fell asleep, went through a thing on the train, killed them. Yet their propaganda machine still goes on. Life a lot more than money, right? Remember when he was arguing with me at the whale watching counts in Hawaii? By the way, this is an important story. The first surfing gold medal in history. This is the irony of it. She won it. She went to the same high school as that dirtbag, Barry Antoinette Obama. Same high school. Think about the irony of that. He's the guy that covered up Fukushima. Make it so. Radiate your own men. I hope she doesn't get cancer. I mean, let's pray to God none of them do. She won the first gold medal in the history of surfing in the Olympics. Barry Antoinette Obama. Now think about the irony of that. It's like, I just found out, I didn't know this, the Emperor of Japan wrote My Japanese Soul, one of the most classic pieces of literature in history. I had no idea. He wrote it here with the old Del Monte. Ding, 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 ding. I had the boy stand right here. See the rails right there? See the rails? Right to the square inch where he was killed. Tried to beat the train up the hill. Doc Ricketts on Balco on chemo, Flora. Talking to a young woman at the Grove Market, and she says, oh, and we had a great talk about, she says, I have family members that knew Steinbeck personally, used to show up to the house drunk, biggest asshole, drunk, yeah, boy could he write. We left out a bowl of milk for the leprechauns up there in Big Sur. John Steinbeck's grandmother, Mrs. Hamilton. Jeffers Tower. Oh, we said a prayer in front of Jeffers' house. One day I'll drip into the sea. He's my favorite, Robin Jeffers. All the great literature giants here. Oh, they matter. Ask Doc Ricketts. George ain't gonna let me tend them fucking rabbits. She wins the gold in surfing. She went to the same high school as the greatest criminal derelict who ever walked. Who's second? Got the gold medalist in criminal derelicts, cover up, kill people. Who knew one of my best attributes would be killing people? That's a quote from Barack Obama. His silver medal, Donald J. Trump. The handoff from Abe. Oh, the revolving door presidency of Japan. Let's see that part. They've been in power for 9 years. What a saga. Everybody's belling out over there. The famous player here is a Pacific Grove breaker on the softball team. They played it in Fukushima, Japan. Think about these ironies. Oh, they're circles. I know, some are bigger than others. Oh, I've always known that. These are circles. Somebody says, how are you alive? Up at the market yesterday. He says, God, Blanche, I can't believe you're still with us. My boys are like, oh my God, you walked 20, 30 miles. You should be in the Olympics for speed walking. 1968, Mexico City, Bob Beamon, Blanche, dead type bull jump. Remember the last? When walking was a race and the Mexican won it and they went crazy. I'll never forget that. Mark Spitz on Balco. She wins the gold medal in surfing. How many people Barack Obama killed and Donald Trump killed by sending them there into that hellhole? They'll come back and they all know that. That's why they're all belling out. Why do you think she says I'm mentally tortured? I need out. If we're talking about the lone pelican. Well, literature matters. literature matters. At the Cannery Row on Balco, I had the boys reading on the trail. We walked all the way from the transit center last night. I said, that's a walk, come on, but I want to make sure you do it. Woo! What boot camp they get, right? Oh boy. I never used the word extinction. I use genocide. Great consider genocide. Blanche on Balco, Blanche on chemo. Stay tuned.